Hi, my name is Nick Vert. I'm a PhD student at the Bioeconomics Division at the KU Leuven, and I will shortly present you a few midline results from our research consortium named Agricultural Trade and Market Access for Food Security, Insights for Africa. First, a short framework. So markets for agricultural products in Africa face many challenges in terms of product access, price, institutional challenges. It is believed that value chain development and better integration of local markets into regional or international trades can improve rural livelihoods and food security in this part of the world. But trade barriers hamper further value chain development and market access. And in addition, there is a strong potential to decrease trade costs in local and global-oriented agri-food value chains, as there is still inadequate physical infrastructure, lack of transparent regulatory frameworks, lacking product quality, and excessive protective standards. In short, our project investigates the dynamics between market institutions and local agricultural markets and trade between African and EU markets. Now we will shortly go over a few of the most important findings. So first, we look at EU, Africa, and regional trades with some specific country examples. So first, agricultural exports of high value horticultural products have been growing rapidly in some countries. Senegal is a nice case here, as over the past 2 decades, horticultural exports have exploded in this country with, in general, favorable local impacts on poverty and rural development. Now, despite this strong growth, exports to the EU comes across many non-tariff barriers. For example, exports between Ghana and the EU of mangoes suffers from stringent sanitary and phytosanitary measures. But technical and financial constraints limit the ability of ECOWAS food and agricultural exporters to comply with such measures. Now, as part of the project, we developed a comprehensive database which records all of these types of non-tariff measures by sector, and this database is publicly available on our website. Secondly, we look at EU-Africa trade with a specific focus on the trade impact of these non-tariff measures. So first, we see that food standards are increasingly getting stricter, especially in the EU. So the graph shows how maximum residue limits of, for example, pesticides have become smaller over the past 15 years and are now much stricter in the EU and in high-income countries versus southern low-income countries. Secondly, Africa's agricultural exports to high-income OECD countries, so not only the EU, have been falling, at least in part, due to these strict standards. But the results from our work also show that for African countries, compliance with food standards has the potential to improve their integration into global value chains by guaranteeing exporters higher prices and higher trade volumes. Third, we look at local value chains and trades more at a micro level. So first we see a case study from Senegal where local production of fresh fruit and vegetables, in this case onion, has increased rapidly through trade protection measures over the past 20 years. But the sector remains plagued by issues of quality competitiveness of local versus imported products. Now, we tackled this subject from a demand-side perspective by conducting a consumer study with urban Senegalese consumers. And the conclusions from this study suggest that investments in quality upgrading of local onion supply chains should be complementary to current trade protection measures. In Ghana, similar issues of competitiveness and efficiency are prevalent, but there it is mostly in the local poultry value chain. And then third, COVID had a profound impact on agricultural value chains all over the world, of course, and Senegal was not spared. So because Senegal has a quite differentiated value chain, types for horticultural products, namely one traditional local chain and a more modern export-oriented chain. This dichotomy offered an interesting opportunity to compare resilience between both types of chains. And based on surveys with all types of value chain actors in both chains, we find a differential impact of the COVID-19 shock on actors in the global versus the local chain, with as main results that modern, vertically integrated and more capital-intensive, larger scale producers were more able to adapt to input and labor shortages during the shock compared to small scale and informal actors in the local chain. Nevertheless, we also saw quite significant innovations throughout the entire value chain ecosystem in both types of chains. Then, as main policy conclusions, we state that non-tariff measures bring both challenges and opportunities for EU-Africa trade. So there is a need to increase quality of African agri-food exports. Secondly, there is a potential to improve African exports while also increasing competitiveness of local value chains through quality upgrading. And third, there is a need for a policy dialogue between EU and African countries to get African exports to adapt to these non-tariff measures. In light of this, we plan to organize a workshop later this year with our research consortium. Hopefully,